What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York, and on the phone we got Jay from Executioner's Mask. Thank you so much for your time today, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's so awesome to have you here. I was just jamming Despair Anthems, and the record's absolutely badass. You just want to give like a rundown on like how the making of this record was? Like, was there a specific thought going into it? Was there a preconceived idea, or was there like a lot of improvising involved?
I mean, the band was mostly started because I was dating somebody who had somewhat narrow taste in music, so I just wanted to have a project for them to show people, so they didn't have to explain what I was doing with my other project when I went on tour.
Mm-hmm.
That was really, it was, we were not expecting, like, I have a bunch of projects, and Ryan's a buddy, and Craig's a buddy, so it was more just a situation where Ryan was bored and looking to start a project, and I had this idea. I said, hey, why not? Then we did that, and then we knew Craig would be on board for it and would be perfect for the sound. So it all just kind of came together. We made that EP, and then that was released on Somatic, which put out stuff by Street Sex and a bunch of really great artists, Deep Cross. And then we made, a couple months later, I was about to go on tour again, so I said, hey, why don't we do another like 5-6 tracks? Brian was down, Craig was down, then we recorded those, and that ultimately became the groundwork for the record.
Interesting. Could the single that you released, No Funeral, almost serve as like a clear representation of what this whole album is going to sound like, or do you think that that's just scratching the surface?
I mean, it's so hard for me to describe it because it's not a record. I'm so used to coming from making records that are like hyper thought about. And this wasn't a record that we were trying to make any big, grand, lofty artistic aspiration. We just wanted to make a couple songs that we thought would be fun. So I can't really tell you how this record stands against the rest of the other tracks on the record. I feel like if you like this one, you might like the other ones. They're all I don't know. They're all coherent enough with that to be considered a record, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing I was curious about is coming from Crowhurst and playing with so many different bands. Were you going into Executioner's Mask with like a completely different mind frame or a clean slate, or is there maybe like a similar method behind the madness that sort of like applies to everything?
Oh yeah, this was very much a clean slate, very different from Crowhurst. Crowhurst is more geared around exercising concepts, and this project was more of an exercise in genre, where we were just going to try and make something that fit within certain parameters that was fun. So instead of really kind of like hunkering down like we do with Crowhurst projects, to kind of sit, draw out all the tracks, and then go over them again. We didn't really do that. We made these 2 EPs, and then once Chris said that they wanted to release it, I went to Jeff Ziegler, who's a dream producer. Jeff has made a lot of the records that inspired me to make the songs on this project. Mm-hmm. So it was like, out of all the things that I normally think about when making a Crowhurst record, the only thing that was similar with this was, for a producer, we should definitely work with Jeff. Everything else was just throw it at the wall, see what sticks.
So it's fair to say that Despair Anthems, the making of this album, was very, very organic, right? Everything kind of fell into place. Everything was sort of meant to be with it.
Yeah, absolutely. There was nothing contrived about this. It was quite literally just something that we we all just wanted to do, and none of us thought that. I certainly didn't think I would be speaking to anybody about this record beyond the handful of people who might have found it to be a niche interest.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Which is odd.
It almost seems like this record was almost kind of like a happy accident in a way, right?
Oh, it absolutely was. Absolutely was. We're three musicians who, Ryan is a death metal pioneer. Ryan's Intestinal Disgorge project was maybe one of the landmark, projects in, I forget what, I don't know what you would call drowned in rectal sludge, what subgenre, ultra brutal death metal, but that kind of like gurgly, it's a seminal noise death metal record, and Intestinal Disgorge is a project I've been following, since, at this point, probably a little under half my life.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, Ryan's been doing it for a long time, and nothing like what this project is. Craig has been blazing trails with Cop Warmth, and doing all these incredible things, and really is known for Cop Warmth and Late. Like, those two projects, which are pretty different from this. And then I've been doing nothing but Crowhurst for the past near decade. So we all just were doing our own thing. And I'm somebody who likes to make a million records anyway. So I don't think anybody thought, oh, this is going to be one where people it took off. We probably would have just we probably would have done another record even if nobody heard this one, just because it's fun.
Yeah, and I'd imagine, because I thought, I got to listen to this album early, and, I thought a song like 1988 was very different from a song like True Blue, or very different from a song like Rat Boy. It's fair to say that, you guys like to try new things. From what you were telling me about this album, it almost seems like trying new things was almost, essential to the creation of this album, and really the creation of this band, right?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I don't think Ryan had ever really even heard The Cure before I had sent them a playlist full of stuff. And it's interesting to hear the perceptions of these tracks from other people, because we wrote the majority of the stuff back in 2018, 2019. I mean, we've been sitting on this stuff for a long time. So, to me, I don't think about... I know the there's a difference in tone with a song like True Blue, but because of how it was made, I don't really differentiate it that much, because True Blue was, when Ryan and I were writing, and I had sent Ryan a treatment of what I thought a song, a couple of songs should sound like, only one didn't seem right, and that was what would become True Blue. And just like I did on the 3 album with Crowhurst, I took the original demo and slowed it down until it sounded like almost like a Joy Division-y kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And that became the basis for True Blue. So I know that sounds different, and I know the first track sounds different because the first track was specifically engineered to be the first track on the record. So it was designed to set a tone, but that was the intent, not to really be a song or a single, just to be a track that sets the tone, that can be enjoyed as a song.
Mm-hmm. Being that you had that you started writing material for this album back into, you're releasing it 2 years after, you started working on it. Are what we're hearing on the album almost kind of like the final, like the first initial take of what these songs are, or did these songs change a lot over a long span of time?
I wouldn't say they changed a lot. There are certain elements of these songs that have been ramped up. For instance, if you listen to Bury Me at Grave, the version that's on True Blue, it's got a very strong drum beat but it doesn't have the same hit that it does on Despair Anthems because Jeff's a genius. I don't know what else to say. Jeff took what we were doing and, like any great producer, went, oh, okay, so if I do A, B, and C, it's like your vision times 10. So I wouldn't say that we had much to do in the studio, because Ryan didn't come up and record with us. Instead, it was a couple of members of the Crowhurst live band at the time, and Craig and myself. And we weren't trying to take these songs too far from the demos. I think that was, in my opinion, that was Jeff's job. I hate to put it in such a utilitarian term, but that's why we work with Jeff on this record, is because he knows what the record, what it would take to get from a B plus to an A plus.
Is there ever a time where maybe lyrics or a subject matter or a concept can determine the outcome of the music itself, or are lyrics are they like the last thing that you guys focus on?
I mean, I'm the one who writes the lyrics, and as terrible as it is to say, I just have a big well of like shit I write that is just indiscriminate scribbles that come out when I need to express myself in ways that I feel like I can't just normally articulate in conversation, or I'm drunk, usually the latter. And so I'll just sit there and I'll drink and I'll smoke weed and I'll write, and that will be, I might get 7 or 8 pages done a night, not do anything for like 6 months. I hope I get enough material for a record, but I also hope I don't have to feel like shit enough to write records, in like sad records, in that respect. So, those are sad songs are usually the ones that pass muster. And then after I work on the tracks themselves, which are, to me, much more important. It's much more important for me probably overcompensating for the fact that I'm a poor instrumentalist, and that's being generous. I will write a treatment of what an entire record should look like, track for track, on a piece of paper, and it's much more important for me to work with whoever I'm writing with, to get those nailed down, and to get then the extra layers nailed down, like Craig's guitar, or I have a project called The Crinkles that has members of Pig Destroyer, Suffering Hour, Outer Heaven, and again, Them Dark Gnomes, and it just is a matter of getting those things down, and then once I have a track that feels good, then it's a matter of adapting the lyrics. And like with a song like Rat Boy, it was very much, we finished the track and then applied the lyrics and formatted the lyrics, and I was watching the movie Rat Boy with Sandra Locke, and the lyrics reminded me of the movie, so I tweaked like 1 or 2 lines and called it Rat Boy. That would be how lyrics would determine a song. Mm-hmm. But usually it's not my, I don't try and muddy the two.
Yeah, well, it sounds like from what you're telling me, because I've interviewed a lot of artists about this, where like sometimes they prefer to write, whether it's lyrics or even music, alone, like in isolation. But it seems like you almost find it better when you have like outside input in a way, right?
Oh yeah, I'm insecure as fuck. I don't think I'm very good, but I know that the people I'm friends with and the people that I entrust to clear things have much higher standards and know much more and are much more talented. So in a way, it's a lot easier to trust people that you admire and allow them to let you know if what you're doing is garbage than lock yourself in a vacuum. At least for me, lock myself in a vacuum and try and decide what's good or what's not. Because that's how you end up liking the smell of your own farts.
Mm-hmm. Well, here comes the most difficult question then of the entire interview. You ready?
Yeah.
How do you know when a song is done?
The producer tells me it's done.
I knew I was going to get an answer like that.
Yeah, I know a song is finished with the writing, but a song is never done until it's recorded and mixed and mastered. I'm a firm believer that a strong element of writing a song is picking out your producer and your mastering engineer and working with them to ensure that the sonic qualities of your album are as strong as the hooks and the verses and the choruses and the riffs, etc., etc. So I don't think that it's something that I mean, granted, I've done albums where I've written, recorded, mixed, and done it all together, and in those cases, I know when it's done when I'm sick of it. But God, that's tedious. I don't want to make myself sick of I don't want to make myself sick of a track, and then not even know if it's good after.
Yeah.
Why do that? Why do that? Like, to prove that, I can do it? When you got somebody whose whole job it is to make things sound better? And they're sitting right there and they need work? Come on. It just seems like the right thing to do. It's like trying to fix your VCR. That's a dated reference. Trying to fix your car yourself when you don't know anything about cars.
Wow, that was a really good analogy and a really good answer, I do gotta say, because it seems like it's always good to believe in yourself. It's always good to, have your own artistic etiquette, but when you could execute a vision and have other people enhance it, that has to be the ultimate, achievement in art, right?
I mean, I don't know if it's the ultimate achievement in art for me, because I would never want to know what the ultimate achievement is, because then I'd reach it and then you'd be done. But I'd say that in creating art and feeling like what you did was successful, I feel like there's no greater joy and honor I get than being able to contact people that I truly admire and have them not only say, yeah, what you're doing is good, but saying, I want to help it be better. That is a greater joy than I think, like Arnold says, it's better than coming. It's every track, it's like coming. You get to listen to it over and over, and then you go back and you listen to other records that inspired you. You get to go, oh my gosh, that Craig did that guitar thing, and that's on the Clock Cleaner record, and Jeff did that twangy thing, and now I'm a part of the record that I would listen to. Mm-hmm. You get to admire your own work through an outside lens, because you get to then become an outsider to your own work. And again, I see making records like Eat It, where I know what I can cook, but I'm not a sushi chef, and I'm certainly not anybody that knows how to prepare good pastries. But if I want good pastries, I know 6 shops up the block that do them well. I can make and for things like a cheesesteak that I can make myself, yeah, I can make myself a good cheesesteak, but if I'm living right up the street from Phillips or something like that, I'm going to order the best cheesesteak in the damn world. And that's how I see it. If I'm so fortunate that I get to For example, I am a big fan of a group called Pelts, and I was reaching out to Ben, who's in that group, and Ben had a couple of things that they'd worked on for Pelts that just, didn't make the record or whatever. They were just stems. And they said, yeah, if you want to work with them, that'd be great. And at the same time, I got a message from Jake from WADA, who said, hey, I really dig the tracks. And I thought, it would be cool. Let's work on all this stuff together. That's, what a dream. What a dream. And if it sucks, it sucks. But if it rolls, you got a band.
There you go. It's
and
all rolling the dice.
But, it's like, it's like listening to music plus one. Because now you get, okay, I get to not only be the person in front of the camera, but I can be the alchemist behind the camera, choosing what I want to see. And in this case here, that's just, that's why, that's not just why I make music, that's why I live.
There you go. Absolutely. And I do want to say, by the way, I'm really freaking hungry right now after that analogy.
I'm sorry, all I do is eat.
Eat and make music. That's the best lifestyle ever.
You and me, you and me both feeling that.
So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Is there just anything else with Executioner's Mask that you would like to promote? I mean, obviously, when things are back to normal, can you maybe be bringing this out on the road one day? Could we maybe be seeing some of these songs performed live?
Oh, please, if you are booking a 2021 tour, if you are the booking agent for like Primavera Sound or I don't know, just something. If you're the booking agent for somebody that's going on tour, please bring us along. It's gonna suck to try and find like a tour or a way to book a tour when everybody's gonna try and book a tour during 2021. We'll try and we'll do our best to get out there. But if anybody wants to if anybody's putting together a tour and likes this record or wants to put us on a tour or something, please, we'd love to go out there and do like a 78-minute cover of Sister Ray or something. I don't know. We'll have fun with it, and if the opportunity arises, and if not, we'll just be here making records because that's what we do.
Sounds good. I need to start talking to some local promoters now. But thank you so much, Jay. Everybody, we are here with Jay of Executioner's Mask. Be sure to pick up Despair Anthems coming out in July. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we will see you next time.